What's going on, everybody? Appreciate all of you guys for tuning in to today's edition of Vikings Now by Chat Sports. My name is Patrick Siepman, and coming up on today's show, we're going to be going over some very concerning statistics around the Minnesota Vikings and really diving into how bad this offense has been, because they aren't just the worst they have been under Kevin O'Connell. They aren't the worst in the NFC. They are truly one of the worst offenses in the entire National Football League, and I want to start off with this one here first. So this is movement in NFL team tiers in terms of offensive EPA per play going across the bottom, and it's broken up into each conference. Then going up the top vertically is defensive EPA per play, but I do want to focus in on offensive EPA per play. The Minnesota Vikings are by far the worst offense in the NFC right now. Now, you got the Saints right there, but the Saints are a dumpster fire. They have no weapons, shaky quarterback play. They're just a joke too, but you guys see how bad the Vikings have been. And you guys can also see that graph kind of slowly shifting towards the left. So over the last couple of weeks, they weren't good even 4 weeks ago, but we were all saying, hey, it can't possibly get worse. Well, it has gotten worse. They are truly – they aren't even close to competing with the Panthers and the Cardinals and the Buccaneers and the Falcons on this graphic. They're lumped in there with the New Orleans Saints. Now, this one is also incredibly concerning. So this one might be a little hard to see for you guys, but it's offensive series results. The Vikings are coming in there at 29th in the NFL. And on their drives, they are only scoring a touchdown 7% of the time. They're only picking up one first down 58% of the time, which is one of the lowest in the league, only behind the Cleveland Browns. And then they're scoring field goals on 8% of the times, and then they're punting on 17% of the times, and they turnover 10% of the time. So they're not scoring touchdowns. They're very rarely picking up first downs. When you look at a team like the Chiefs, they're 69%. Most of the teams in the NFL are above 60%, but the Vikings are right there at 58%. It's a complete disaster. They have been that bad. But how about this one? This next graphic, early down rushing and passing offensive efficiency. The Vikings are bad again. They're lumped in there with the Oakland Raiders, the Las Vegas Raiders, the Tennessee Titans, the Cleveland Browns, and you got the Bengals there. But, most of the year they've been without Joe Flacco. But you guys even see, the more efficient passing going to the right side. You got teams like the Jets ahead of you, the Saints ahead of you, the Panthers, the Dolphins, the Vikings are truly one of the worst offenses in the NFL, and a big reason for that is the quarterback position. Now, this one is offensive PFF grades going on the bottom. You guys see J.J. McCarthy, the lowest one on this list, and then also you guys see going up the left side of the screen, it's EPA per play, it's passes, rushes, and penalties, and J.J. McCarthy is also near the bottom of that as well. Also Carson Wentz, you guys see mixed in there, but there's no Max Brosmer, but I'm assuming Brosmer will be right down there with Shedeur Sanders. So for all the Shedeur Sanders fans, I would probably just look at this graphic. But still, not good for the Vikings. And I'll ask you guys this. Right now, I think they definitely could make an argument they are. I would probably say it's either the Vikings or the Cleveland Browns in terms of worst offense in the NFL, which is so concerning because, the Vikings, you got Christian Darrisaw, Jordan Addison, Justin Jefferson. And the fact that I'm asking you this question on December 3rd, or when you're seeing this December 4th, incredibly concerning. So you guys, let me know your thoughts. Are the Vikings' worst offense in the NFL? Y for yes or N for no. Now, I do want to talk about, though, who's to blame for these struggles. Because when you're this bad, it's not just one position group or one coach or one player. It's a combination of a bunch of things. Now, even though I've been hypercritical of Kevin O'Connell, I still think the number one reason why the Vikings offense is struggling is the quarterback position. You are getting the worst quarterback play in the NFL. Maybe the Cleveland Browns are right there with you, but the Vikings have the worst QB play by far in the National Football League. Whether it's Carson Wentz, J.J. McCarthy, Max Brosmer, it does not matter. The quarterback position for the Vikings this season has been awful. So if we're going pie chart of blame here on why the offense is struggling, I would go 50% for the quarterback, but I would go 30% for your head coach, Kevin O'Connell. And, you could also make an argument, well, why is the quarterback play struggling so much? Well, Kevin O'Connell doesn't help him out. KOC has refused to change his offense and has refused to cater to a young quarterback because he is treating this offense like he's got a veteran in there, like he's got Kirk Cousins, like he's got Sam Darnold. He has not changed anything. He refuses to run the football. He refuses to just have easy outlets on these deep passing concepts where it's like KOC. You can still run your 20-yard crosses. You can still run those 20-yard corner routes. Just give the rookie quarterback an outlet. Because on a lot of these passing plays, the Vikings won't have a quick check down there. It is all routes 10, 15-plus yards down the field, and still, even just going to the quick passing game, no slants. You rarely see them throw to the flat. Yes, they run hitch routes sometimes with When has the Vikings ever came out and said, hey, we're running all hitches? Where it's just everybody out there, 5 yards turn around, you just have your quarterback read the field. That never happens for the Vikings. So I think Kevin O'Connell is number 2 to blame. And then, if I probably had to give 20% of this blame, even I feel like that's way too high. I'd probably go 50% for the quarterback, take that back, 40% for Kevin O'Connell instead of 20. Then the weapons taking a step back, I think is number 3. Like Jordan Addison drops this year. Adam Thielen was a disaster. Justin Jefferson, still think he's the best in the league, but he doesn't look like who he was back in 24, 23, and 2022. And TJ Hawkinson, obviously, he's a shell of himself, so it's just a combination of everything. But still, majority of the blame, head coach, quarterback. But our head coach actually talked about our quarterback and how he wants to see him perform for the rest of the season, saying, I want him to him to have a clear mind and just go play, but with an understanding of the decisions that I make with the ball in my hand. The decisions that I make as a passer, as we've learned, very imitative as a runner to protect himself and make sure that we can keep him in there. So KOC kind of alluding to JJ just needs to be on the field more because, no matter what your take is on McCarthy, the number one concern with him is his health. We could talk about his play on the field. That's been a disaster as well, but he just needs to stay healthy. Like, I think what would be so positive the rest of the year if it's like, hey, JJ McCarthy, he's a starter for the rest of the games. Like, I think that would be improvement, but you got to see improvement from him. And if he doesn't show any improvement, like this offseason will get off the chain. Now, I don't think that's going to happen. He's a 22-year-old kid. He's growing every single day. Like, that time in your life is when you're really taking those strides every single day to be a better person on the field, off the field. And if he shows 0 improvements, like, it's probably going to be a pretty insane offseason for the Vikings because then, like, the drafting a quarterback conversation will get brought back up. Trading for Mac Jones would be brought up. So hopefully JJ shows something. Also, JJ probably needs to show something for Jefferson to get him back involved, to get him back motivated to be a part of this organization. But I'll ask you guys, do you believe in JJ McCarthy? Give me a Y for yes or give me an N for no. You guys let me know your thoughts down below in the comments section. I still have some belief in him. Obviously, this has not gone how I thought it was going to go, but I still believe that he could possibly be the guy. He's just going to have to show us something for the remainder of 5 games for this Viking season. Now, before we dive into actually Sam Darnold and Daniel Jones, I do want to give a massive shout-out to today's sponsor, and that is Factor Meals. Now, if you guys head on over to factormeals.com/VikingsChat50off, we'll hook you guys up with 50% off your first box, plus free breakfast for 1 year. Just make sure you use promo code VikingsChat50off. Now, the fall season always feels like a reset. Between back to school, busy routines, and shorter days, finding time to cook can be tough. That's why I love Factor. The chef-prepared, dietitian-approved meals make it easy to stay on track and enjoy something comforting and delicious, no matter how hectic the season gets. And Factor, they got more variety and more meals. Choose from a wider selection of weekly meal options, including premium seafood choices like salmon and shrimp, at no extra cost. You guys can also support your wellness goals, enjoy even more GLP-1 friendly meals, and new Mediterranean diet options packed with protein and good-for-you fats. So head over to factormeals.com/VikingsChat50off. Use promo code VikingsChat50off to get 50% off your first box, plus free breakfast for 1 whole year. That's promo code VikingsChat50off at factormeals.com for 50% off your first box, plus free breakfast for 1 year. Get delicious, ready-to-eat meals delivered with Factor. This offer is only valid for new Factor customers with code and qualifying auto-renewing subscription purchase. All right, I do want to get some positivity for Vikings fans here, and maybe this is just me just coping with how the season has gone, and that's probably what is going on right now in the second half of today's show. But I do want to talk about Sam Darnold and Daniel Jones because everybody was up in arms about how these two have started the NFL season, and for right reasons. So we're going to be looking at Daniel Jones, obviously Sam Darnold, DJ on the left side, Sam Darnold on the right side, and this is EPA, expected points added, plus completion percentage over expected, and how they ranked out in the whole NFL. So weeks 1 through 8, Daniel Jones, he was 4th in the league. But recently, weeks 9 through 14, he was 25th in the league. And then same with Sam Darnold. He was 1st in the league, weeks 1 through 9, but 10 through 14, he's fallen off to 22nd. So everybody was panicking. How could you let Daniel Jones, Sam Darnold walk out the door? Maybe the process was correct. Like, the idea where it's like, hey, we don't fully believe Daniel Jones and Sam Darnold can be the quarterbacks to get us where we want to go. We'll bank on a guy like J.J. McCarthy and we'll take that risk. I still agree with that thought process, building out the entire roster, getting a more complete team. Now, on the other hand, they misevaluated J.J. McCarthy. Clearly, he wasn't ready to go. And also, you misevaluated the guys who you brought in free agency, like the big four, Kelly, Fries, Hargrave, Allen. They have been a disaster. So even though The results weren't there. I still kind of agree with the thought process of like, all right, rookie quarterback, get a stacked team. You got a team that's, just coming off a very successful season. Like, I do appreciate, at least the thought process seems correct, but you still should have brought in a high-end backup quarterback. You should have got a Jacoby Brissett. You should have got a Mac Jones because, like, right now, like, even with, JJ struggling and continuously getting hurt, like, if you just had a Mac Jones in there, if you had a Jacoby Brissett, like, I promise you, the Vikings would not be 4-8. Would we be above 500? Would we be 500? Maybe, maybe not, but they still should have valued the backup quarterback position better this offseason. But you guys let me know your thoughts on this. What is the biggest mistake the Vikings made this offseason? Biggest mistake for me? I still want to say Sam Darnold walking out the door. Even though the process was correct, I still think you should have brought him back. Like, you just had to. But, that's a good question. You guys let me know your thoughts down below. And also hit that subscribe button on the way out. Help us reach our next milestone here on the channel. And we'll see you guys next time. As always, let's go Vikes.